growing up, I saw Power Rangers on the TV, and I always skipped away. I thought Power Rangers was a show that didn't really have many depth, many characters, story arcs, villains that I would turn out really enjoy. It took my girlfriend to be like, hey, we should rewatch every single Power Rangers. But not only that, how about we capitalize on some of the best moments throughout the show so we can share that with people all around the world? And I said, of course, but what do you want to call this series? She looked at me and said, Ranger Recap. And right there, I realized that I was in it for the long haul. And let me just say, some of these characters I did not realize I was going to have such a connection with. So I'm very excited for me and my girlfriend and I, to bring you Ranger Recap. She's put together an amazing PowerPoint of only season 1, because there is a lot of episodes within Power Rangers. And I truly do hope that you enjoy this series and come with us and save Angel Grove.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that illustrious introduction. Right. So the adventure we're going to go on. Let me just set the scene. Basically, Power Rangers universe is very long, very good, very amazing. Watched it since I was a wee lass. There are several different series throughout the entire thing. We're watching in chronological order. So that is something that I Googled. But I did watch fairly much in chronological order when I was younger growing up. So we're going through series by series. We're starting out with, of course, the original, the classic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They split this series up into 3 seasons. And I was like, oh yeah, it's probably like 20 episodes per season. Wrong. First season is 60 episodes. Clock it 60. So, we did have to lock in. Took us a while to get through just this one. But so this is just going to be recapping just season 1. We'll do a season 2. We'll do a season 3. And then from there on out, there's no more multiple season series. So each episode is just going to be representative of the entire series. And without further ado, any questions, comments before I start?
Can I use the guy gotta pee? Can I go to the restroom?
No, there's no breaks.
Okay.
There's no breaks.
Sorry.
So no interruptions, actually. Just gonna sit there. Just to have you sit there.
Oh, look cute. I'm very excited because we have watched the show together, but I do not know what's in this PowerPoint. It is new to me as well. She's been keeping under lock and key.
Yeah, hopefully my editing skills are good. All right, let's get into it. All right, we're setting the scene. It's year 1993. Where are we? The moon, of course. So we've got the Moon Palace. And before anyone comments about, let's just get this out of the way. The quality of these photos are bad.
It's tough.
They're bad. And I'll admit that. This is a show from the 90s. I had to do a lot of snipping. I was using the snipping tool. So no one comment. I did my best. Anyways, we're on the moon. Astronauts decided, hey, there's a big tub on the ground. Let's open it up real quick. First of all, I would never do that. If I would never go to the moon, first of all. But if I was on the moon, I wouldn't be opening random things. Now, I can't speak the same for Alexander. I do think he would have opened it.
Maybe.
Let's just be honest.
But my hands in the cookie jar. I'll admit it.
Anyways, they unmask Rita Repulsa, full name. She's been locked away for 10,000 years. And she is evil. She repulses. That's all we really know. She's got a sick headpiece. She's got pointy boobs. And she's ready to roll. We get to meet her illustrious team. That includes Goldar, who is a seemingly monkey origin, but has gold-plated armor. And is a simp. He's kind of her second in command. We have my boy Finster, who's her kind of man behind the curtain, if you will. He's going to be crafting the monsters for her, etc., etc. We'll get more into his lore later. And then we've got the OGs, Alexander's favorite characters, Squat and Babu.
Dude, the dynamic duo, man. When they're on screen, I just get happy. Terrifying looking.
Some amazing one-liners from that team. Can't really describe either one of them. Alien origin is all I can say. I would say Finster's like some type of dog creature. But yes, Rita Repulsa gets unleashed. She sets up her little moon palace. She gets her team. And the Earth is like, right next door. So that's where she's headed. So let's break down our good guys. Of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Zordon. Zordon of Eltar. Now he's going to be the large floating head you see that's somewhat potato shaped. He's a man, and that's all I can say. I don't know really much else about him. He just kind of is there. He is a projection from the Morphin Grid. If the lore is to be, consulted. I did add this line of when he asked Alpha to bring in the the kids for the first time, because I just did not remember that he said, bring us 5 overbearing and over emotional humans. And she was like, or he was like, teenagers. Also, lore drop is that I always thought Alpha was a girl. So I will occasionally say she. Alpha is a he, uses he, him pronouns. Kind of Zordon's man in the chair, if you will. Presses buttons, is a robot, also has anxiety, says a lot of ay. Kind of like an ESA, if you will. Not sure what else his purpose is and how they're related together, but these are our good guys. They're like, we got to get someone on board to fight Rita Repulsa, so we can't do it ourselves. We won't be doing it. We're going to get some teenagers to it. So let's introduce the teenagers.
The main point. The Power Rangers. Oh, Mersh.
So first up, we got the Red Ranger, Jason, the leader, if you will. We've got Zach, the Black Ranger, also known as the dancer. We've got Billy, the Blue Ranger. He's going to be the smart one. We've got Trini, the Yellow Ranger. And, she's also the smart one, but she's a girl. And then finally, we have Kimberly, Pink Ranger. She is pretty, and she likes to shop. Slay. All of them do various forms of either gymnastics or martial arts or karate or science. They do a lot of volunteering in the community. They're top of their class, grade A kids, not misbehaving. And I think they're kind of already friends. So yeah, that's the squad. Go ahead, Alexander. I'm giving you some space here.
Okay, yeah. So Billy, right? Billy, whenever you think of something, imagine the most unoptimal words to use in a sentence. So this man, like, it can be raining outside, and he'll be like, it looks like the hydrogen and oxygen molecules are falling at a rapid rate from certain spheres of water. And you're like, Billy, it's raining. It's just like everything he says, like, it just pisses me off, because I thought I liked the Blue Ranger. I was like, oh, the Blue Ranger's smart, I'm gonna like the Blue Ranger. Brother, he is just like, he's why people go like, say that in English in like current Marvel movies. Like, Billy is the first guy to be that guy.
He's the prototype nerd.
And Trini is the one that translates.
Yes. And that's why she's dubbed the smart one, but a girl.
Oh, man, yeah. He gets me going, man.
So
but he's a solid guy. He's a solid guy.
You went in thinking you were going to like Billy. And can you say, like, of the original squad, who are you rocking with now?
I'm a Jason. I'm a Jason. Jason, he puts the heart of the team on his sleeve when he goes in, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, man has a heart of gold, and he's a leader. He possesses those qualities. And then we're gonna introduce their Zords. So best case. Photos. Oh, thank you. Found the artwork online. I did not cite any of my sources, so sorry. Shout out to these guys.
Yeah. Somebody didn't check the rubric.
Yeah, so their Zords these are going to be large robots, if you're not familiar, kind of Transformer-esque in nature, but they don't talk, but they are animals. They are dinosaur based for this series. So we have Zach's Zord is the Mastodon. Kimberly's going to have Pterodactyl. Jason, Tyrannosaurus. Billy, Triceratops. Trini, Saber-tooth tiger. I also realized I spelled every single one of these words wrong originally when I put it in there. Like I actually could not spell them.
I mean, yeah, I don't think I could spell pterodactyl if I like tried.
Like if I was held a gunpoint,
tiger, I got that though.
If there's one I've got, probably Triceratops. Yeah, Mastodon did not get that one on the first try either, but they are all separate animals, and then they will combine into the Megazord. Once again, let's go ahead and apologize for the quality. Actually, I have a infographic that I was like, let me just show the crowd like what I was rocking with here. I was trying to not use a picture of like a toy.
Yeah.
Like, so literally tell me which one would have been better. Like, first of all,
wait, what about that one to the right? The fourth one, first line.
No, this is still like, if you blow this up.
No, one to the left, like now to the left of it. Yeah.
This is a toy.
Oh,
so I said I was trying to avoid.
I mean, that looks. Yeah, that is true.
So, and also, this is not the right Megazord.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's very tough.
I will get blasted.
I will say that the Power Rangers IP itself, they very were selling action figures. They were smart when it came to marketing.
Yeah, no, and this, you know, the tank mode, as it's so dubbed, that Alexander doesn't like.
I hate the tank mode. It makes no it makes no sense.
It's the one on this side.
Tank mode.
I mean, it's kind of mid. They don't use it often, but it has the blasters going for it. So I don't know. But then the final Megazord is this guy right over here. We've got the Power Sword.
Of course.
Pretty cool. They call it from the sky. Kind of final move boss. Good stuff.
Oh.
And of course, lest I forget to mention the legends, the icons, Bulk and Skull, aka real names Farkas and Eugene. Now these guys are going to be your classic clowns, right? They were kind of described to be like the like school bullies in the first season. They're kind of antagonizing the Rangers at several different points. They're just kind of goofing around. Bulk has this whole bit where things are gonna fall on him, like anything in the area. If it's a drink, if it's a cake, if it's paint, it's falling on Skull or Bulk, and Skull is laughing. And that's kind of their whole bit, the entire 60
That's all they get.
And we were eating it up every single time. And I love when they are on screen. So, they really contribute a lot. And I did define some of my favorite kind of near moments for them. So I have Bulk's most foul moment here. I'm not sure if you remember this, Alexander, but they asked him for some money to cover the cake that fell on him. And he pulled his shoe and sock off, exhibited this dirty ass foot with money clutched in the toes, and handed it to Ernie. I remember being gobsmacked by this. Like, this was not in my memory banks of a child. I was experiencing this for the first time, and like, this would be my villain arc if someone did this to me.
This is the bank. That's crazy.
So that just kind of gives you a little insight into Bulk's personality, season 1 especially. And then I did kind of create this compilation to appreciate Skull serving looks the entire season. He consistently impressed me with his outfits. Like, I'm not sure what who styled him, or if he styled himself, but 10 out of 10. Like, the belt, not connected to the pants. The pants were purple, by the way, also. The spike collar, the drip. This one, a great one, kind of a opposite of what you're thinking for him, but the camo with the sunglasses, this hat, very sailor. Love this A-line jacket he's got going on here. And then, of course, his signature kind of beret that he would wear when he would try to flirt with Kimberly is always just, it's so good. And, Bulk, like, kind of in a way is serving looks too, but it's the same look.
Yeah.
And we can be honest about that. And that's okay for him, because, that's not his vibe. But yeah, just how to take the time for that, because that was truly inspiring. And we'll continue on, I'm sure. Okay, now let's get into it.
Oh, yeah.
So basically it's 60 episodes in which we start out with the teenagers doing some good for the community. You know, they're setting up a garden, they're feeding the children, they're trick-or-treating, volunteering, whatever. And then Rita gets pissed.
Yeah.
She sees them, she spots them on Earth. She's like, I hate that they're having fun. Finster, create me a monster. And it's always, you know, briefly related to what they're doing. But Finster, my boy, can craft. His craft, the clay. You know, so he will be crafting the clay. He will mold it into some weird ass monster. He puts it through his monster-o-matic machine, which you can see here. Looks like kind of a piece of a train, and it pops out. So, you know, they had my guy working day in and day out, and he loved it. He's a man for the job, and you know, I think that's really representative of his kind of. I think he's kind of a boomer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, he loved to be at work. He loved to serve as Empress. You know, he had a lot of good nicknames for her, like my disgusting one. So I just really liked him. We were big Finster stans.
Yeah, Finster's the goat.
And he just, the ears really crack me up every single time. But anyways, yeah, so he creates some stuff. The first thing he creates are the Putty Patrol.
Oh, the putties.
Which, you know, you're going to be seeing them every episode. You know, they're not going to be cooking the Power Rangers, but they're going to be trying.
Just guys in suits. Like, it's literally just random men in tight suits
and morph
and
suits.
Boots and gloves. And you
they
can see
made
the
this
zippers
really weird
sometimes.
noise. Do you think you can imitate the putty noise?
I don't know. I think it's a no. I'm thinking about like that would. It's a noise only they make. Like, but it is.
But if you know it, you know it.
If you know it, you better hope the Power Rangers are nearby. Let me just say that much.
If you're hearing that in the distance, yeah, you better be somewhere safe.
Go the other way.
Yeah. So these guys, they show up. They're usually like with the monster or before the monster, prior to the monster. They kind of warm up the Power Rangers. They're goofy. They kind of, when they first show up, they're just kind of doing their thing. But as the season progresses, they will show up and they will do a bit. Like they will do like a cheerleading squad triangle. They'll do a little coordinated dance. And we did not realize that was happening, I feel like, for a while, until we were like, wait, they're doing it every single time now. It's a different bit. And that made it so much better, really, like watching it in order. Yeah. I think really just kind of emphasizes the creativity there. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, I kind of pulled this one from the comics because I thought it was a cool kind of graphic of them.
Oh yeah, they look way more menacing. Oh yeah, in the
I
comic,
do think
I'm
that
sure.
if I was like walking in the park though, and that came running at me.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's like that's the most sane take I've ever heard.
I'm running.
I'll be scared of daytime anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sprinting away. But anyway, so yeah, these are kind of your go-to guys for any kind of odd job. They're gonna be there for you. All right, so I kind of put together some monster superlatives, which I figured you would look forward to. So this is gonna be some of my favorite / least favorite monsters from the first season. Starting off strong with the worst one, the worst pudgy pig. Let's just note how his arms are coming out of his face, out of his mouth. His whole face is his body. And then he has legs coming out of his head. And then for a random reason, some Roman helmet. They bring this guy down and he starts eating stuff. That's his bit. He eats everything in sight, including like buildings and stuff like that, and people he's eating.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers fight this guy the first time. They literally just get their weapons, like their individual weapons. He eats them. I'll spoil it for you. He eats them. They're like, oh, well, we're cooked. We're cooked. And I was like, guys, look at him.
He is terrifying. He is terrifying.
A worse creature, you know? And they bring him back. You know, they defeat him this is like in the beginning, like within the first 10 episodes, we see this man. They bring him back for kind of like a nostalgia, like where they bring back a bunch of monsters, and then they bring him back again.
That's what the third photo is, right?
Yes, a pig is there, and they turn a regular pig back into Pudgy Pig. And then he has some weird like romantic thing going on with this female pig that there's also there. And that's how they get him back to normal. Was just seeing too much of him. But, you know, I know he's a fan favorite. I don't know. Alexander, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, he's terrifying.
Didn't like him.
Yeah, and then it's once again, right, because these are just like costumes at the end of the day. When they emphasize him eating, it's just throwing food at the costume. Like he doesn't actually eat it. It's just but like they just throw food inside of the mouth. It's so great. Like something about the way early Power Rangers was. It's like they were really just throwing it at the wall, and it's very, very entertaining the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the costume designers, they should get props, but for hate, a true visceral feeling that they got out of me. The most horrifying. Don't know if you remember this guy, Mutitis, who had two forms, both equally as terrifying. I don't remember anything about his bit. I know he was pretty OP and he was cooking them in both of these forms, but especially I think the one with the horns.
Yeah, this is super form.
It haunts me. This is my sleep paralysis demon, actually.
Yeah.
This is me and Alexander's sleep paralysis demons. We have two. They sit at each corner of our bed at night and they stare at us, and it's terrifying and I hate it. That's really all I have to say about them.
Oh yeah.
So guy, you know, when I think of him, I think of the craziest torture experience. Basically, you can see here a child being flung around, rotated in this anti-gravity chamber-esque type thing. This is going to be Billy's little brother. Yeah, this is going to be Billy's little brother. He's going to be, you know, also as smart. Was doing some type of science project with VR. This guy, he comes after kids. He kidnaps him, puts him in his little mind palace, and in his mind palace, the boy is perpetually spinning in all directions, just screaming. And they show him throughout the episode, like multiple times, just rotating and screaming, and then they cut away. Crazy.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah, that was so. It would just be a random segue. I'm like, we gotta go help my brother, guys. Whoa.
Literally so bad. So yeah, craziest torture, definitely guy. Oh my god, goofiest. Then we got the goofiest guy. So this is gonna be Squat and Babu. They decided, hey, we could make a monster too. You know, let's have our own little bit, have our own little episode. And they create Shell Shock, who's a turtle that has a traffic light coming out of his body. And I do think his powers were pretty OP. I don't really remember exactly what it was, but it was like the green light and the yellow light and the red light would do all different effects.
Yeah.
And you know, he did have his moments where he did cook. He did cook, but he's at the end of the day goofy guy. So that's all I have to say about him. Okay, so those are my monster superlatives.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I would throw in a couple more really fun random things that I didn't remember until we watched again. So Billy builds this car. It's a Volkswagen Bug, like, you know, Herbie Fully Loaded vibes. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I tricked it out to go really fast. Like it goes to 0 to 3,000 miles per hour. 3,000, and it flies. It flies, brother. And they were flying in it. Anytime they couldn't teleport to see Zordon, they're like, gotta hop in the bug. They're flying in the air. How did he create that? He's a teenager. He's 17.
Blue Ranger, though.
So there's that. And then there's, of course, they play this, you know, a couple times throughout the season of, you know, where basically, I think this is like Rita gives them some type of juice that makes them evil or like bad or like little bad boys and bad girls, but only Billy and Kimberly drink it. So they are like super weird and punk. And this is actually the origin of the Kimberly Skull romance, if you recall, is that Kimberly, when she's a little bad girl for like 10 seconds, she flirts it up with Skull. You want to go hang out? And he's like shook. He's like,
I think she said like, do you want to, well, it was like something along the lines of like scorch earth or like blow up the town. Like, which is Skull. She said, hey, do you want to go set fire to the world? And he, man, fell in love at those words.
Eyes.
Yeah,
hard eyes to her. And he never left, that crush never left him. You know, as soon as she turned back to good, she was like, why are you even talking to me? But he never let it go. And it's really his one that got away. But that was a great episode just because they're talking back to Zordon. And anytime they do that, it's really funny.
Oh yeah, it's such a good bit. It's such a good bit. Then they just start insult. Shut up, egghead. It's just so good, man. And Zordon's like calm and composed. You are under a spell. Shut up. Nobody cares.
Okay. Oh. We gotta be quick. Okay. But that's okay because we're already into the bulk. The bulk.
Goats!
I was waiting for you to say, okay. We have an additional Power Ranger that comes into play here, right? Tommy is introduced, the OG, the legend, Jason Frank, rest in peace. He comes in, kind of as the new guy in school. Kimberly like immediately clocks him, is like, that guy's hot. He like fights Jason, like they are both in a karate competition together and they're tied. And everyone's like, oh.
Because Jason's the leader, you know. He's supposed to be the best.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the best. So, whatever. Then they become friends. It's great. But then Rita clocks that and she's like, you know what? I would like a Power Ranger. Lore hears that she somehow has a power coin. The power coins that all the Rangers have so that they can have their powers and they can morph. She has her own. She finds Tommy in an alleyway, puts a spell on his ass. It's like, you're mine now. And he becomes the Green Ranger. So this is kind of like a pinpoint plot of the season, right? You know, everyone loved Tommy. This was really good stuff. It was like 5 parts. It's 5 episodes long. Great stuff that he was doing. And we also have his Zord.
Oh, look at that photo. It's a pretty cool photo. Damn, that is anime as all hell.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope. That's what I look like when I've done.
And that's gonna be fan service. And that's gonna be fan service for the girls. Oh, you're saying that's you? Okay.
Yep. Nope. Okay. No, you're fake. Yeah. No, my bad. Yeah, no.
Anyways, so he has the Dragon Zord, and this is gonna be a Godzilla-esque vibe. You know, he kind of comes up from the ocean. He'd be screaming. He could shoot things from his fingertips.
Missiles.
Tommy has to call him on his little dagger flute, and it does a little fun little song. Love that part.
Can you reenact the song?
It's like
I think you peaked the mic when you did that.
Oh, well, it's high pitched. There's a flute. Anyways, Tommy evil, crazy. He is a rascal. He breaks into the command center. He literally, what is he? Oh, he gives Alpha a virus. He like puts a CD inside of him so that he like is non-functional. Then he blows everything up inside. He's like ripping cables out. Zordon's like, yo, like don't do that. Like I can save you, you're under spell. And he's like, F you, Zordon. Yeah. Old man.
Yeah.
I do what I want. I love my Empress Rita. Then he cooks their Zords. Like literally, they go down into fire. All of them individually. And Jason's like, our Zords! Like kills them. Then somehow they come back. You really think they're destroyed? They end up coming back and it ends up being fine. They like just come back up from the fire. Like it's the same animatic. Instead of going down, they come up. Whatever.
Yeah.
They get their Zords back.
Yeah. No, Power Rangers, they love to reuse footage. They when you watch season 1, you're gonna watch the same footage for at least like 8 minutes every episode.
And that's gonna be okay though, at the end of the day. Basically, what they learned from Zordon is that this power sword, this ugly ass looking scythe thing that Rita gives him, if they destroy that, the spell will be broken. So Jason has to solo him. They have to do a one-on-one. It's a long-winded thing because we're like, ooh, they're kind of evenly matched. They fight, ching, 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 ching. Gets him down, blows it, uses his Glock, shoots the sword.
Damn,
Tommy's like, comes out of the spell and he's like, hey, just take it easy, man. I didn't know what I was doing. They're like, no, it's okay, man. Like, we want to join the team? And he's like, after everything I've done? And they're like, yeah. And he joins the team. And then they're a 6-Ranger team.
6 Rangers.
And they let us enjoy that for a good, 4 or 5 episodes that we've got. We learn that Tommy's vest becomes transferable. So Jason gets to wear it for a couple episodes. There's some good bits with the 2 Zords fighting together, but very quickly, this is an aside about all the Zords that I forgot to mention, because they are able to combine their Zord with the Dragon Zord. Dragon Zord also has battle mode, which is pictured there.
Yes.
But Mega Dragon Zord combined, which I don't really feel like you liked very much.
I don't, because it doesn't look like, it's just like like, where did the rest of Tommy's Zord go? They're the same height.
Back in the ocean.
Yeah, like the Zords are the same height as you saw from the last photo, and it's just he's just like shoulder pads.
Yeah, and they have this additional Titanus who they can kind of like lock into, which also you don't like.
Yeah, Titanus is like the lore on Titanus is so confusing. Like, he's just there.
He just shows up.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Tommy and Jason had to go like grab something, and then Titanus is just there. And then they're like, oh, cool. And then they
become a big old tank.
Yeah, then it's so weird. It was weird. It was weird. But
anyways,
we love Titanus. We love Titanus.
Yeah, he's a homie. Anyways, we get back in. And now about 5 episodes later, they're like, we're going to go ahead and fuck the Green Ranger up. So there's a green candle that Rita somehow obtains. It has the power to drain Tommy of his Green Ranger powers. They start melting it. It's another prolonged couple episodes. Jason does try to get in there. It's in the the dark dimension or whatever. He tries to get to it. Goldar's like taunting him and like fighting him. He ends up getting pulled out because they're like, dude, it's not worth it. And so at the very last moment, when the candle's like at the almost done, almost out, Zordon's like, oh, you have to transfer the Green Ranger power to someone else. Like, that's the only way it will not stay evil. So he transfers the Green Ranger power to Jason.
Yes.
And basically is no longer a Ranger anymore. Which is sad, And then we had to miss him for a while. But Kimberly and Tommy kiss.
Yeah.
Which I did not know they were actually going to do. They go to the little dance together. He asked her to the dance. She says, yeah. And they kiss.
Yeah. It was a crazy moment. I didn't know they were ever going to go full on lips to lips.
Lip
in
locked.
Power Rangers.
Yeah. That was my exciting moment there. I obviously blew it up very large. I have a little slide on all their power upgrades just because I thought they were interesting. Some good lore here. So obviously we have the original power coins that they received so they could morph. We have the power crystals, which they actually use in their Zords. It's like they're like power crystal, look, power up. And I don't really know necessarily what it does. I think it just makes their Zords a little more OP.
Yeah.
Doesn't really say. They kind of
the power egg.
They bring up these power eggs, which are incredibly important. Because apparently if Rita gets them, they're cooked. And then at the end of the episode, they throw them in the ocean and we never hear about them again. And we never knew what they were going to do originally. So those are there, power eggs. Power weapons, which I mentioned that Pudgy had eaten. They all have their individual weapons and they can combine to be the power blaster. And then they have this like weird like OP thing, like they can put all their power coins together to like, they do this to restore Zordon a few times. Because he gets sent off to the Morphin Grid, and I always thought that it was just meant like they like ended a FaceTime, but it seems like it actually like affects his health of some sort, so they have to use their power to get him back. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, no, they definitely get a lot of upgrades randomly.
That's the bit. That's the bit there. Coming to kind of episode 50-ish, not necessarily done, but this is what I'm calling the finale before the finale, and that's going to be Parents' Day. We meet everyone's parents, whom I've pictured here because I think the bit is really funny that they all are wearing their colors and they're just like very canonic, like this is Billy's dad, the only picture I could find of him, like this nerdy guy. And then like, you know, even Bulk and Skull's parents make an appearance, and like Skull's parents are like super grunge. And Kimberly kind of has an interesting, like, her parents are divorced, but she and her mom brings like a little new beau, but I guess they're all friends. And then, you know, Jason's parents, Zach's parents, Trini's parents, all good stuff. So they all come. It's a good day. Or is it? Because they kidnap, literally Rita kidnaps all the parents. Actually, she kidnaps everyone in Angel Grove except for the Power Rangers, including all their parents. And she says, I'm going to kill your parents. I have them in the dark dimension and I'm going to kill them unless you give me your power coins. They're like, all right. They give Goldar their power coins. And he awfully says, like, he says, I'm not going to give them back to you.
Goldar, dude, they're so... Just so you truly understand, the villains in this. All right, we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We are using Zoom for this, and our free trial ended. They're not getting a dime out of us. So, but make sure to like, comment, subscribe for this video. But yeah, as I was saying, so the villains in this show, which is what makes him so captivating, is Goldar hates Jason. Like, Goldar really, really hates Jason. Like, Rita really hates Kimberly. Like, it's so well crafted, like, how human and petty the villains are throughout the show. And it really, like, they really just make you laugh. So when Goldar does this double crossing, he's specifically doing this because he's speaking to Jason and he's just calling Jason stupid. Like, oh, it's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, like, I guess at the end of the day, like, you still would have to trade the power coins just to see. But like, we all knew they were going to be like, thanks, you idiots. Anyway, so yeah, Goldar yoinks the coins and does not give back to parents. So, you know, we do end up having to call in an old friend. We have to call in an old friend. And who is that? It is, in fact, the goat, Tommy. So he comes back with a ponytail, by the way. Kind of turns into his iconic look, if you will. Basically, how this happens is that Zordon infuses his power into Tommy, and they share power. So like, as Tommy is the Green Ranger, he's draining Zordon's power. So he's like, oh, you can only be the Green Ranger for a little bit. And he's like, all right, like, I'll go save him, like, all good. So he goes, he calls on the Dragon Zord, he fights Goldar and the monster, and then he goes, and like, Zordon's literally like pulling him out because he's like, I'm draining. And at the last second, he got the power coins. Kind of snatches him up. They're in some type of force field that he like jumps on top of. He gets it back. He goes back to the command center and then like passes out. And everyone's like, oh no. He actually ends up like absorbing the force field, and that recharges him. Yeah. And that's how he becomes the Green Ranger again. But it's like, it's situational, I guess. It's like, it's always going to be draining, you know. So he can morph again, but he only can be morphed for so long, and he has to be careful because if he runs out of the power, like, he would die or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think he loses the power forever or something. No longer Green Ranger if he fights for too long.
Yeah. So he's like got this like kind of tentative plan. I'm like, all right, I can help out sometimes. They call him up every time. And they're going to call him up every single time. Every episode after that, they're like, no, like, we're going to try by ourselves. And then they're like, Tommy, you got to come in and help.
Yeah, and the best part is they're like, Tommy, we need you. And Zordon's like, Tommy, be careful. You're going to drain your power. But Zordon, I have to help them. Okay, Tommy, be careful. And then...
like, they're my friend Zordon. Like, yeah, okay.
Gotta save my girlfriend Zordon.
I digress. So, you know, he's back. We love it. We love him. Oh, this is another episode that I had to include. I don't know if you remember these mutant rangers. Yeah. They sucked. They were putties at one point, but then they gave them these like clay coins that were supposed to be like, make them into like the shadow type of each Power Ranger. So they had like the Power Ranger costumes, but they had like darker colored gloves instead of the white gloves. And they got cooked like in 2 seconds. Like we were like, oh, like this is crazy. Like they're gonna be calling on these guys. No, they got cooked.
Yeah, they lost that. They lost like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, like no, nothing.
And
special.
there's no Red Ranger. This is the entire Mutant Rangers. There's no red. They were like blue, yellow, pink, black, green, no red.
That's all we got. That's all we got. Jason didn't want to be a part of it, so here we are. But yeah, had to include that one. We're kind of in the last dregs of the season now. They gave us the finale. And was it really a finale? Because it was kind of just like random plot, and then it was just done. So I will describe to you the last episode. I don't really consider it a finale. I consider Parents' Day more of the actual finale. But, it's kind of centered on Zach. He's been thirsting after this girl, Angela, the entire season. She's been rebuffing him. She thinks he's a player. She's not into that type. She's kind of an independent queen. So he's like, oh, I gotta do something to impress her, because he finally like convinces her to go on a date with him. That they send this super weird monster. He turns himself into a man and creepily sells a spelled pair of earrings to Zach, like in the most obvious way possible. Like Zach's walking, he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna get her, and he just appears and he's like, I think I can help you. Like, when have you ever seen a man like open up his jacket and have like things? You're not like, oh, he stole that.
This is a businessman.
I'm like, oh, yeah, it's business, but like the black market. Like, he definitely stole all this. Or else why is it in his jacket coat pockets? Anyways, he sells him a pair of pearl earrings that have a spell on them that will freeze everyone when she puts them on. And he buys them for like $5.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think the conversation, if I remember correctly, it was like, he's like, how about these earrings? And Zach's like, I only got $5. And he's like, they're $5. He's like, perfect. Oh, perfect. And he just gave him the money and just took the earrings.
Yeah. So you would think after 60 episodes, some lessons would be learned in that regard. No, they're going to be tricked, and they're going to be tricked and manipulated every single time. So, he takes her on this nice date. Takes her on a nice date, and Bulk and Skull are there singing. Like, they are doing, it's Valentine's Day, so they're doing like I don't even know what that's called, but like you can pay people to like sing your girl like a little love song. And Zach purchases that without knowing that it's Bulk and Skull. So when they show up, he's like, not these guys. Also, Kimberly and Tommy go as like, it's like a double date. Anyways, foolery, gives Angela earrings, she puts them on, and then everyone turns into stone. As you can see, Jason, Trini, and Billy are in the back, also stone. And it's this pearl oyster monster, and they have to fight him underwater. Like, oh, we gotta go to his domain. So they take the Megazord into the ocean, and they fight his ass underwater. And I mean, they win. They do indeed win. But it was kind of foolish. It was kind of silly. But it was good, and they beat him, and everyone turns back into like not stone. And the final scene is Zach singing to Angela. Arguably my worst nightmare. Like, this is actually my worst nightmare, of being like personally serenaded to, and like having to like look at the person while they like awkwardly sing. And it's not like, he's not a bad singer, but he's definitely not a good singer. And look at all these people in the back. Like, these people in the back, this is me. Like, this is me watching this happen. Like, what are you doing? She loves it. She eats it up. She's like, oh, Zach, kiss. That's the end of the season. That
season finale, yeah. 63.
We ended that, and we looked at each other and we're like, all right, well, guess it's done.
Yeah, so no, it was so abrupt.
I'm not, and we looked it up, and there were, between season 1 and season 2, like several months. It wasn't like I was like, oh, maybe they just pick it up, like, because season 2 just like started right away. No, just ended one day, and kids were probably like, when is this coming back? What's going on? I guess I'll just watch the Green Candle again.
Yeah, just
watch Porky Pig again, Pudgy Pig. So yeah, definitely was a big fan of how it the season finale kind of didn't wrap anything up, but overall, you know, pretty solid, had a lot of laughs, had a lot of creativity there. And yeah, that's kind of the totality of season 1, unless you remember any more.
I remember. Well, I don't know. You got any clips? Are we showing clips? I don't
know. I forgot the best.
I don't want. I heard there was.
We'll have to see that if this plays the sound.
Just mute it. You hit that mute.
I hit what?
Just mute the video. Yeah.
I have to mute the video?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how demonetization works. Nah, we're chilling. Nah.
Anyways, this is going to be a scene from when Tommy originally turned evil. And so Goldar is basically trying to fight them. And they are in their Megazord. And just see what Tommy does.
There's the goat. There's the goat.
And Squat there. He's gonna go ahead and enter. Hey! And beats them up in their own Zord. In their hometown, kicks them out.
It's the best part. And then he jumps after them, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. And then he
proceeds to beat their ass.
Then he 5v1s them. He 1v5s them and wins. Like, pretty much. And then this is when he kills their Zords and they all go into the flaming lightning fire thing that I was showing before. So
yeah, my favorite clip, and if you see this, please look it up. Look up like basketball putty fight. Like, it's so like, sometimes when they fight the putties, they just do the most outlandish stuff. They were playing basketball and the putties show up, and I shit you not, Zach does like a fucking front flip over a putty and then just dunks the basketball mid-fight. And then they're like throwing the basketball like at the putties and like passing it to each other. Like Billy like crosses up a putty. It's so, oh my God, it's peak.
You know, they know how to use their surroundings.
They use the environment, which is so good.
Yeah, it's a good part of the bit. And we enjoyed it for sure. You know, so I think season 1, I can't really put a rating on anything until we're done. You know, I think that's just not fair to until we can really compare it across time. But overall, enjoyed it.
Satisfactory.
Satisfied.
But I felt good during the season. I felt good.
Yep. And, you know, I like playing into stereotypical cliche most of the time. So I didn't really mind it. I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, this is so 90s of them. So that's kind of what I've got for season 1.
And hopefully you guys come back for the next episodes of Ranger Recap. We don't know exactly how fast we'll be putting out these videos. A lot of work does go into the PowerPoints. Nicolette does a fantastic job trying to convey as much of the story as she can condense. Because remember, this first season, though, was the longest, was 63. So we can't go over every single episode. But we try to, you know, of course, hit the main marks and really just captivate like what we thought stood out the most. So, of course, you like the series. Please subscribe and comment down below. Leave a like. Comment down below who your favorite Ranger was, your favorite villain, your favorite moment. We'll gladly read it. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Any last words, Nicolette?
Just looking forward to season 2. A little less episodes. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. See ya!